Have you ever imagined dying for a few minutes and, upon returning to life, realizing that during that time in another dimension, it felt like an eternity? This is the sensation described by people who have had near-death experiences and returned with accounts that defy our logic. What happens when the heart stops, breathing ceases, and yet consciousness remains active in a mysterious place many call limbo? What you're about to discover may surprise you, because these experiences aren't just stories, but real testimonies from those who have hovered between life and death. Imagine being absent from this world for just 10 minutes while doctors struggle to bring you back, and upon awakening, feeling as if you've lived entire days on another plane. Limbo, according to these accounts, doesn't follow the same rules we know here. Time seems to expand, lengthen, or even disappear, as if each second were charged with profound meaning. Stay with me until the end, because understanding this distortion of time can completely change the way you view life, death, and what lies beyond. These near-death experiences raise questions that science is still trying to explain, but that spirituality interprets as windows into a greater reality. Have you ever experienced this, or do you know someone who has? Many people report encounters, conversations, and even entire journeys during this brief interval during which they were clinically dead. This leads us to wonder, does consciousness truly disconnect from the body, or is it simply accessing a dimension where time has no limits? And it is precisely at this point, when we think we know the truth about death, that an intriguing revelation emerges. And perhaps that's precisely why these accounts resonate so deeply with us. They're not just stories about what happens after death, but also about the life we're living now. Every detail shared by those who have returned from limbo raises questions, provokes emotions, and makes us reflect on our own journey. If this topic resonates with you, leave a comment below with what's touched you most so far, or even an experience you've had or heard. This space is more than a channel, it's a community where every story adds something valuable. And do you know why this is so important? Because when you comment, like, and subscribe, you're not only supporting this work, but you're helping this message reach others who are also seeking answers, comfort, and hope. It's your participation that keeps this channel alive and ensures more stories like this continue to be told. So if you believe this topic deserves to be shared, like this video now and subscribe so you don't miss future content. But the most interesting thing is that the more we delve into these testimonies, the more we realize that there are still deep mysteries about time and consciousness in limbo that challenge everything we think we know. What's most striking about these accounts is the contrast between the time spent here and what's experienced in limbo. Imagine someone who was clinically dead for only 10 minutes. For the doctors, it was a brief interval, marked by resuscitation procedures, beeping machines, and a race against the clock. But for this person, the experience was completely different. She described having lived a journey so long and intense that it seemed impossible to fit it all into such a short time. It's as if I'd passed through invisible portals and experienced situations that, on this side, would have lasted for days, maybe even weeks. These narratives convey a sense of hidden truth, as if there are hidden behind-the-scenes details of existence that remain hidden until someone touches the boundary between life and death. The perception of time, in these moments, ceases to be linear. There's no longer the rush of the clock or the counting of minutes and hours. Instead, there's an expansion, an openness that challenges our rational mindset. Some describe encounters, deep conversations, and even important decisions made in this space where the body no longer responds, but consciousness remains awake. It's inevitable not to consider the impact this has on those who return. It's not just the memory of a strange experience, but a complete transformation in how they view life. Many return with a new sense of purpose, as if they've received revelations that cannot be ignored. The 10-minute journey becomes the beginning of a change that echoes in every future choice, in every detail of existence. The most curious thing is that, although these accounts vary in their descriptions, almost all agree on one point. Time in limbo does not follow the rules we know. It expands, multiplies, and becomes something much greater than we can understand here. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because what these people experienced offers fascinating clues about the nature of time and consciousness in dimensions that still escape our understanding. Comment there, I'm on this journey too. Limbo, according to many accounts of near-death experiences, is described as an in-between space, a point of passage between physical life and something much greater that we cannot yet define. It is neither heaven nor hell, but a place where consciousness seems suspended, free from the body but still connected to the journey of existence. Some describe it as a tranquil darkness, where there is no pain, only silence and the feeling of waiting for something to happen. Others speak of immense landscapes, filled with light, or even familiar scenes that seem more real than anything ever experienced here. This diversity of descriptions shows that limbo is not a fixed space, but an experience shaped by perceptions, emotions, and perhaps even the very mindset of those who traverse it. Being in limbo is like stepping backstage into life. It's leaving the main stage, where all visible events unfold, and walking through secret corridors where time and space no longer obey the rules we know. What's striking is the clarity with which people describe this state. Many say they feel an intense peace, a liberation from worries and physical pain, as if they can finally see the hidden truth behind everything. It's in this undefined space that unexpected encounters arise, soul-stirring dialogues, and revelations that seem to have a profound impact on their way of life after their return. And perhaps most intriguing is the sensation of being in two worlds at once. The body remains here, motionless, while consciousness floats on another level, observing, reflecting, and somehow understanding its own existence from a new perspective. This experience defies logic because it doesn't fit traditional scientific explanations, but it also can't be ignored, as thousands of people around the world have shared similar testimonies. It's as if limbo were a reminder that there are dimensions we can't control, but which reveal valuable clues about who we are and where we're going. Understanding how time transforms in this mysterious space can open doors to even more powerful reflections on consciousness and the very essence of life. Right there, this makes sense to me. The most striking aspect of the accounts of those who have been in limbo is the way time simply ceases to make sense. People who were clinically dead for just a few minutes report having lived through experiences so intense and extensive that it would be impossible to fit them into the logic of our reality. While here on the clock, only 10 minutes passed on the other side, it seemed like entire days, full of events, conversations, encounters, and even entire journeys. It's as if time expanded and gained new layers, revealing a dimension where consciousness is no longer bound by the accelerated pace of physical life. This distortion brings a powerful reflection on our own mindset. We're accustomed to measuring everything in seconds, minutes, and hours, but what if this were merely a human construct, useful for organizing life here, but irrelevant in other dimensions of existence? Those who return from these experiences describe a continuous flow, as if there were no beginning, middle, or end, only a complete presence. This sensation, many say, is accompanied by a striking clarity, as if every detail had a profound impact and every choice was charged with meaning. Imagine experiencing a conversation so powerful it seems to last hours, and upon waking, realizing that only a few moments have passed in the hospital. Or walking through grand settings, rethinking life decisions, experiencing revelations that completely change your way of life, all in a space that here was no more than a few minutes. It is in this contrast that the true provocation arises. The time we know is perhaps just a backstage of reality, a resource we use to avoid getting lost in the chaos, but which does not limit consciousness when it crosses over to another dimension. Now I want to delve even deeper into this topic, because understanding how these experiences shape the inner transformation of those who return can reveal hidden truths about the lives we live today. Comment there, that makes sense to me. What makes these accounts so powerful is not just the strangeness of someone saying they lived an eternity in a few minutes, but the impact this has on how life is viewed afterward. Those who return from limbo often speak of a transformation so profound that nothing seems to hold the same weight as before. Issues that were once seen as urgent or unbearable lose their importance, while small actions, gestures of love, and conscious choices take on immense significance. It's as if, by experiencing the inner workings of existence, one begins to realize that everything we experience here is fleeting and, at the same time, too precious to be wasted. These experiences make us reflect on decisions we often make automatically. We live surrounded by haste, obligations, and material concerns, but near-death experiences remind us that the true essence of the journey lies in simple things: how we treat those we love, how we deal with challenges, and the clarity that each moment can be lived with greater awareness. When listening to these stories, it's impossible not to ask, are we valuing what really matters, or are we letting the noise of the world distract us from our greater purpose? The spirituality that emerges from these narratives is not just religious, but existential. It invites us to look beyond the physical and see life as an opportunity for evolution, awakening, and connection with something greater. Many who return report feeling a hidden truth, an inner certainty that we are not here by chance. This kind of revelation doesn't translate into ready-made formulas, but rather into a shift in mindset that inspires us to live more lightly, more presently, and more aligned with what resonates with our soul. These lessons from Limbo can transform the way we view existence and open the door to even more intense revelations about who we are and what the purpose of this journey is. Right there, this makes sense to me. If 10 minutes here can turn into an eternity in another dimension, what does this tell us about life after death? This question resonates as an invitation to rethink everything we know about time, consciousness, and the purpose of our existence. Perhaps what we call minutes are nothing more than a tiny fraction of something much larger, and the experience of those who have been in limbo shows us that reality can be much broader and more complex than we can imagine. These stories are not just curious tales, but true mirrors that make us reflect on how we are conducting our journey. When someone returns from an experience like this, they rarely return the same. There's a clear transformation, a new mindset that begins to guide decisions, the way they see the world, and even relationships. It's as if life suddenly takes on a different glow, as if there were a hidden truth waiting to be revealed in every detail of daily life. This impact is so powerful that it forces us to question, are we living consciously or just letting time pass without realizing the value of each moment? The reflection that remains is that time may be relative, but how we choose to experience it is profoundly real. And perhaps this is the greatest lesson from near-death experiences, not to waste the opportunity to be here, now, living with intensity, purpose, and connection. Because if there is something beyond this life, and everything indicates that there is, what we do here may be what defines our experience there. Now I want to go even deeper into the subject, because understanding how these insights intertwine with different spiritual and scientific traditions can lead us to even more surprising revelations about the essence of existence. Comment there, that makes sense to me. If you've made it this far, it's because this topic truly touched some part of your journey, and that already shows how connected we are through these reflections. That's why I invite you to subscribe to the channel, because each new video is designed to bring more clarity, inspiration, and answers about these mysteries that move us so deeply. That way, you can continue following along and be a part of this journey. And also leave your comment so I know you stuck it out. Right, I'm with you until the end. This exchange is what keeps this community alive and further strengthens the sense of being together in this quest. Oh, and don't forget to like, because this simple gesture shows that this message made sense to you and helps maintain the connection we created throughout the video. And if you want to continue diving into this topic, there's a video right here that complements everything we discussed. Click and stay with me there, because there's still much more to discover.